In previous lecture, we have discussed about pipeline scripts. In today's lecture, we are going to see integrating Artifactory with Jenkins. This topic we already discussed, but due to some technical issues, we could not able to continue further. So we are doing it today. And also executing upstream and downstream jobs. I thought to include this as well, but we are going to use effectively these in upcoming classes. Right. First, we'll see integrating Artifactory with Jenkins. Okay. Next thing is I have my JFrog Artifactory server and Jenkins server. So I just bring up my Jenkins server and I have logged into my Jenkins server. And the next thing is JFrog Artifactory system. I'm going to log in and so I'm logging into my server. Okay. So my DevOps key and username EC2-user. So this is my Artifactory server, and I don't think so I have updated host name for this one. That's okay. va/etc host name. I'm just going to change it as a Artifactory server. Host name, sorry, yeah, I need to just give host name cat/etc host name. Okay, so I just renamed my host name to Artifactory server, and in this one we have installed Artifactory under opt directory. Here we have Artifactory and start your Artifactory server from the bin directory. So artifactory.start sh start. Okay, this is the command we can use. To stop, we can use Artifactory sh stop also, or else just giving Artifactory sh also starts your service. But let's use the start parameter and we'll try to access it from the browser. And it runs on port number 8081. Okay, it's still getting ready. Okay, my username is admin and password is admin@123. I have configured a new application on my Artifactory. That's the reason it is showing this one. But anyway, quickly we'll configure our system. So I don't want to change proxy. Skip this one. And the repository, we are creating a fresh repository. So Maven and create a repository. And this is what I can say, open source one. I'm going to create a video for this one so that you can able to understand. Earlier we were using the licensed one, but this is the open source one. Okay, and whenever you choose Maven, it is going to create 5 repositories, right? Okay, lib snapshot local, lib release local, and also lib snapshot and lib release. And this is JCenter is a central virtual repository. And finish. Now it creates the 5 repositories. Those are Maven repositories. You can see here, M means Maven repository. Okay, so now we are going to use these repositories to store our what I can say artifacts. So far in local we don't have any artifacts, even in release also we don't have anything. Now we need to integrate our Artifactory server with Jenkins, and we should copy our artifacts over here. For that one, we are going to create a jobs over here. So these are earlier created jobs. Let me quickly delete it. Okay, I have deleted Artifactory projects. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new job, but before creating new job, we should install Artifactory plugin in our system. If you do remember, we have already installed Artifactory plugin, but quickly I will show you how to install. Go to Maven plugins under manage plugins, and go to available section. Then search for Artifactory. So Artifactory we need to search, but already we have installed this Artifactory plugin. That's the reason you could not able to see. If you go and check in the installed tab, you can see the Artifactory plugin. Okay, so Artifactory plugin has been installed. Once Artifactory plugin has been installed, we need to again go to manage Jenkins. We need to configure credentials. We should configure credentials. For that one, go to configure system. Under configure system, we need to give the Git Artifactory URL and username and password. And if our Jenkins server can able to talk with our Artifactory server, it means that it can able to store the data. So if you scroll down, you can see here Artifactory, and we have already given in previous time. Let me delete it and create it from fresh. So this is how it looks like if you don't configure Artifactory. So I'm adding Artifactory server, and you can give name. What do you want to call? I can give Artifactory server. Okay, so same name we are going to see whenever we are adding to our job, and the URL of our Artifactory server. So this is the URL of our Artifactory server, and we should provide this URL name. Then we should provide the credentials. We are using the default credentials, admin credentials, or else we can create separate users. You can see here security users. We can create separate users to manage our Artifactory. I'm going to create a new user, Jenkins user I'm giving. Okay, let it be more relevant, and let him get a admin privileges, and password is Jenkins at 123. Okay, Jenkins at 123 I'm giving. Here just will give Jenkins and retype the password Jenkins at 123. Okay, so we have given the password, and okay, email address we should provide. I'm just giving my email ID and save it. That's it. So we have created a new user called Jenkins, and I am going to use the same username in my Jenkins server. So Jenkins at 123. Once you have given your credentials, test the connection. If it could able to communicate properly, uh, it should able to say that what is the version of Artifactory you have installed. Sorry, after this you need to give the Artifactory as well. That is the full URL you should give, and test the connection now. And you can see here found Artifactory version 6.19.1. Okay, but latest one is 7.4 is there, but this is the stable version. That's the reason I have used this. And once the test is successful, it means that your Jenkins server can able to communicate with Artifactory server. Apply and save. All right, so now what we have done is we just bring up our Artifactory server, and we integrated our Artifactory server with our Jenkins. Now whenever we create any new job, and if we run whatever Artifactory we are creating, that Artifactory we can store in the Artifactory server. So let's create new job. Job name I am giving Artifactory project 1 I am giving. Anyway, we have deleted this one. So Artifactory project 1, and either we can choose freestyle project or Maven project. So let's choose freestyle project first, and then we'll go with the Maven project. So freestyle project, okay. And we need to give the GitHub repository. This is where you need to provide GitHub repository. I'm going to give my uh, hello test test hello, yep, test hello project I'm going to give. Even web app project also we can give. Let's give web app project, taking the URL and provide web app project over here, and it is a private repository, so we must provide credentials. Once this is done, next thing is you can see here under build environment, we need to choose the Maven 3 Artifactory integration. Nothing but whatever build outcomes it generates, store under Artifactory server. Okay, that is the intention of this one. So we are choosing this option. Whenever we choose this option, whatever Artifactory server is there, it get highlighted. If you have multiple Artifactory servers, sometimes, okay, sometimes people use multiple Artifactory servers. So you will, what I can say, get those Artifactory servers. And refresh repositories, whenever you refresh, it identifies what and all repositories are available for the Maven project. For Maven project, whatever local is there, release local and snapshot local are there, right? So for release, you can store over here. For snapshot, you can use the snapshot local. So target snapshot. So you should choose a right one. Okay, you should not choose for snapshots as a release, for release as a snapshot. It doesn't work. So we want to store it over here and then build, because this is a Maven project, but we are building with the freestyle. So we can choose the over here invoke top level Maven targets. Okay, so invoke top level Maven projects you need to choose in case if you are building Maven project with the freestyle project, and you need to choose what is the Maven you are using. So our Maven name has given as a Maven itself, and goals clean install. Okay, even we can do the deploy, but let's try with the clean install for now. Yep, even deploy also we can do. So apply and save. So now what we are doing, we are building our Maven project, and we want to store Artifactory into the Artifactory server. Let's build now. So it's building at this moment. Okay, it's saying that default deploy has been failed. I don't think so. I can use deploy over here, because deploy doesn't work as per my knowledge. Okay, we should give install only. Okay, so we are going to use install, apply, save, and build now. So this is building our job, and it is successful, and whether it's copied into our Artifactory or not. Snapshot. No, it hasn't copied. The problem here is whenever we are using freestyle project, we need to update our pom.xml to choose this repository. We need to update our pom.xml as well as the settings.xml. If you do remember, whenever we are doing Maven, we were doing that one, right? So we should update that information, then only it is going to work for freestyle project. But for the Maven project, it is going to work without updating any pom.xml. So let's create one more project, that is Artifactory project 2, and we'll create the similar project and then we'll check it out. But for Artifactory 1, once we have created that one and we tested that, we'll come back here and we'll do that. Okay, so again I'm going back, and a new item. This time I'm creating Artifactory project 2. This is the name I'm using, and this is Maven project, and okay. And then git URL, I'm using the same URL which we have copied, and then credentials. Next, this is a Maven project. Okay, first we need to do the build, clean, install. Once it is installed, our build happens, post build actions, nothing but once build is completed, we need to store this into the Artifactory. You can see here, deploy artifacts to Artifactory. So this option we need to choose, and we just need to refresh it to find out our repositories. This is release. Yes, it's selected release. This is snapshot, and deploy Maven artifacts. Yes, I want to deploy it, and apply and save. So here we are creating Maven project, and let's build now. Okay, so build is successful, and you can see here deploying artifacts onto our uh, Artifactory server. Okay, so if I go here and if I refresh it now, and this is a snapshot, right? So you can see here there is a Galaxy web app has been created, and snapshot 1.0 snapshot. Where can I find this name? It is under our pom.xml. If I open our pom.xml, whatever name you have given, you can able to see the snapshot name. So this is how we can deploy our artifacts onto the system. Okay. So now we'll do a little bit of modification. Why? Because at this moment, what it is doing, whatever packages it requires to build this project, okay, whatever packages it requires to build this project, it is pulling from the m2 repository, nothing but directly it is going to internet and pulling the repositories. But if you want to get it from the, where I can say it is already built couple of times, so that's the reason it is not able to pull any additional repositories, because code not yet updated. So that's the reason. But if it is pulling need any third-party libraries, at this moment it is going to pull it from the default Maven repository. Okay, but I don't want to use the my Maven to pull the third-party libraries. I want to use my Artifactory server. Okay, in that case, we need to modify our Jenkins job little bit. That is configure. So here we have one more option. If you scroll down, so resolve Artifactory from the artifacts from the Artifactory. So what does it mean is whenever it requires any artifacts, I mean to say third party libraries or any other artifacts it needs, you can go and check it in this server rather than going to default public Maven repository. So that is the meaning of this one, and you just refresh and you need to choose the, okay, lib release. This is the what I can say remote repository and snapshot. So we need to choose the remote servers, so which means sorry, remote repositories, which means our libraries and third-party libraries and artifacts are stored over here. So it pulls from here if it is need any third-party libraries and build it, and it stores over here. That is how we can do. So apply, save, and build now. So now what will happen? It is going to pull the all the dependencies from the Artifactory server rather than what I can say Maven default repository, and it stores the outcome of the artifact into our Artifactory server. So this is how we can do. And if you don't want to use this one, okay, I mean to say you don't want to specify explicitly for your job, you want to specify, yeah, here you want to specify, or it should take by default whenever it is running the job. Then what we can do, we can update our pom.xml by saying that, yeah, we can update our pom.xml by saying that where it can resolve the required dependencies. I mean to say in the settings.xml we need to update. That is the reason even for our freestyle project also it's not working. Okay, so now I want to make work my freestyle project, right? Because in freestyle project it is throwing an error whenever I'm using deploy. Okay, so why it is throwing error? Why whenever we use deploy, whenever it want to use the deploy, it should have the artifactory should be updated in the pom.xml, but we haven't updated anything in the pom.xml. That's the reason it is throwing error. Now quickly what we do, we are going to update our pom.xml with the repository and also settings.xml with the credentials. Then only it works. So first we'll update the pom.xml and we'll execute it. Then we'll update the settings.xml. Okay, both we can do. Let's log into our Jenkins server now, because pom.xml I'm going to do it from our Linux system. I mean to say Jenkins system, and I will push it into our repository. So I'm connecting over here and the DevOps project and EC2 minus user. Okay, this is my Jenkins server. I'm becoming a root. Just I'm going to clone my code. I can edit my code anywhere. Okay, already I have code, but let me remove it, and nothing is there. Let's clone my code. Git clone our repository name. So web app project. clone this, and I should provide my credentials because what I can say, repository doesn't know whether I'm an authenticated person or not. So my username is ravd. Sorry, there is a typo. Okay, let me give email itself. Okay, so I could able to clone it now. Go inside to this one and va pom.xml. Okay, I need to edit pom.xml. And if you do remember, we have done this one whenever we are doing our Maven classes. So we need to give the what I can say, the repository information. For that, we just need to go here. Okay, set me up, and here we need to choose our lib local, and it generates the distribution management. This we need to copy. Okay, this we need to copy, and also similar way we need to, sorry, not for this one. Yeah, lib release local and also lib snapshot local. So for these two we need to generate it. We are just telling that where we need to store, and remove this one because everything should be in the distribution management. Okay, this is snapshot repository and this is the release management repository. We need to update our pom.xml with this information. Okay, now, yeah, my server, right? So let's remove the all this stuff. We don't need it. But distribution management we are doing plugins for deployment. Okay, so this is the one we want to do and apply. Okay, now git status, git add dot git status, git push origin master.
Not
I should,
committed.
oh sorry, yeah, git commit minus m updated pom.xml with repo artifactory info. Okay, git push origin master. Okay, now we should provide our credentials, arsr319@gmail.com. Okay, so we have updated our file. Okay, now if I go and refresh it, pom.xml, I could able to see that our repository information has been updated. Now let's run our Jenkins job now. So project one, let's build now. Now it is going to take the latest repository information and it tried to build it. So now build is successful, but if I go and check it out, it is not yet deployed, and it is trying to get it store the snapshot under over here, but according to our expectation it should deploy on Artifactory. So we just need to add deploy, otherwise it won't get effect. So apply and save. Build now. It is going to fail because it doesn't have the proper credentials to do this one. You can see here goal so and so is not yet done. Now what we need to do is, you can see here it is trying to downloading from so and so server whatever required snapshots are there, but it is not working. Now what we need to do is we need to update our server.xml, if you do remember, but this time we are not updating the m2 server.xml. If you go your Maven, so opt Maven is installed over here, right? So Maven, under Maven we have conf, under conf we have settings.xml. Okay, so settings.xml is there. In this file we should update our server's information, and if I see some content is there but all are commented out, so in XML this indicates the comment. So we are generating the settings.xml from our Artifactory. So generate Maven setup and generate settings.xml and copy this file, copy this snippet. I mean to say, clear the screen, cat greater than settings.xml, nothing but overwrite all the data with the latest data. That is the meaning of this command. And just paste the data whatever you have copied, Control C. And one last thing we should do, settings.xml, we need to provide credentials of our Artifactory server. So what we are doing is username Jenkins and password Jenkins at 123. Same thing we need to provide under here as well. Now we have updated all the credentials. Now let's run our Jenkins job this time. It should be successful. Why? Because whenever we run, it try to Maven could able to try to pull the artifactories from over here. So it could able to do that one, and after that it is going to store in the same system. Build now. Yes, this time it is successful. You can see here whatever snapshots downloading means if it requires any metadata, it is downloading from the Artifactory server itself. Okay, whatever packages are needed, and uploading snapshots. So snapshots it's also uploading onto the Artifactory server. And if I go and check it out, we should have multiple versions over here. Not multiple versions, same pom.xml, right? So we can see the same version, but multiple times you can see the var file has been created. And if I check this one, this is the timestamp it has. Okay, Maven project 1.0 2020 05 29 and the timestamp. This is another timestamp. This is another, sorry, this one and this one and this one. So 3 times we ran, and these are the what I can say Artifactory versions. Now we want to release it. Release nothing but assume that our code is fine, and uh, I want to deploy it onto the server. So usually deployments will happen from the release branch, not from the snapshot branch. So now what we can do, we are going to update our what is sorry, we are going to update our pom.xml in the Jenkins server, that instead of snapshot we are going to change it as a release. Whenever we change it as a release, let's go to home directory ls. Whenever we change it to release, it is going to store under release branch. So now pom.xml I am updating. So here instead of snapshot, I'm going to make it as a, okay, this snapshot keyword is missing in the version, then it treats it as a release. I can name it as a 2.0. Okay, so the keyword is missing at this moment. Now what does it thinks is it is not a snapshot anymore, and it recognize it as a release. And git add dot git commit -m replaced 1.0 snapshot with 2.0, means 2.0 version we are releasing. Now git push origin master. Okay, I have committed my changes, and let's run our job now. Okay, project 1 only I'm running. Build now. And this time, instead of it is going to the snapshot branch, it should go to the release branch. You can see here downloading and upload central, and you can see here lib release local. Sorry, not this one. Metadata, these all are metadata. Yep, var file. You can see here earlier it was really updated in the lib snapshot local. I will show you the previous job as well. So 5, right? Previous one. If you see downloading snapshot, uploading var file, where Yep, this is WAR file, and you can see here where it was uploading. It is uploading onto the libs snapshot local. But now we have changed in our pom.xml. It is not a snapshot and it is a release. That's the reason this is updating under the release branch. And if I go and check it out, earlier under release branch, nothing was there. If I refresh this time we are going to see the 2.0. So if you go release, you can see here and 2.0, nothing but it is a release, and it won't, you don't see this one in the snapshot because it is not a snapshot anymore, it is a release. And from here we are going to take this one and we'll deploy into the target system. That's how it works. Okay, so this is how we can configure our Artifactory, and how we are taking this artifact and deploying. Whenever we go to the deployment, I mean to say continuous deployment or continuous delivery, there we are going to talk about. For now, we are more concentrating on the continuous integration, nothing but building the code and keeping our artifact somewhere. Just make it ready for the deployment purpose. That is the only thing we are dealing at this moment. Once we have completed Docker and Kubernetes, then we are going to integrate the deployment part with this one. Right? Any questions about this? So next thing what we are doing is upstream and downstream jobs. Okay, let's enhance only this project itself. Okay, so let's take the Maven 2 project. What we are going to do is we will split into two jobs. In one job, I will do only build. In another job, I will do the deployment. I mean to say, if the build is successful, then next job should run, and whatever outcome it is giving, that job should get deployed into the Artifactory. That job, it should deploy into the Artifactory. That is the intention of executing this job. Okay. Can I able to test it? No, I cannot test it because CI job I cannot able to split. But anyway, we'll take another example. So what do? We are going to take two jobs, and first I will execute one job. If that job is successful, I want to execute another job. That is the intention. Okay. If first job is successful, then I want to execute second job. So that is what we call it as a upstream and downstream jobs. So let's create a job over here. Okay, test dependency job I am giving, and let it be freestyle because it is for testing purpose. Okay, and here we will just execute a shell. We will just execute a shell, build and execute shell, echo I am job one. Okay, just I'm saying that I'm job one, apply and save. Let's create one more job. Okay, I'm creating one more job, and this time test job, sorry, test to deployment job 2. Job 2 I'm giving, and I'm going to copy it from the test deployment job 1. So whatever name you give over here, whatever configuration is there in this particular job, same configuration get copies into this job. It's just like a copying the existing job configuration to the new job. That is the meaning. So same thing we are getting, but just we will change it as a job 2. Okay, we are changing it as a job 2. Apply, save. So now we have two jobs, that is test dependency job 1, test dependency job 2. My intention is whenever test dependency job 1 runs, I would like to run the test dependency job 2 as well. Okay, for that what we can do is let's go to test dependency job 1. Okay, and if I execute it, and I will open the test dependency job 2 as well. So now if I build this job, only it is going to execute this job. I don't, it cannot able to execute this job. You can see here it is not executed. But my intention is whenever I run the test dependency job 1, it should able to run test dependency job 2 as well. In that case, we can adjust our configuration by going over here and post build actions. Okay, nothing but after execution of this job, I want to build other project. Okay, I want to build other project, nothing but other job. So I want to run the test dependency job 2. Okay, test dependency job 2 I would like to execute. But while executing, whether if this job is successful, then only do you want me to run, or if this job is failed also should I need to run? That is where you can see here trigger only if the build is stable. Stable nothing but this particular job is successful, then only you will get as a stable. And the trigger even if this job fails, nothing but if this job fails, if I choose this option, if this job fails, still it is going to execute this one. Usually we don't choose this option. Next one is trigger even if the build is unstable. Unstable nothing but in this particular project, few tasks are successful and few tasks are failed. If that is the case, it is going to give you as a unstable. Okay, so mostly we don't choose these two options. Maybe rare cases, if there is some explicit requirement is there, then only people go with this option. So for now we are going to choose this option, apply and save. Now build. Now you can see here it is doing this one. And downstream projects, you can see here downstream nothing but if this is successful, I want to run this one also. You can see here I haven't executed this job, but still it is going to execute this one. It is going to execute this one. So this is how we can make it as a downstream jobs. Downstream jobs nothing but job 1 is going to trigger job 2. Job 1 is going to trigger job 2. Okay, now we have what I can say upstream jobs as well. Upstream jobs nothing but okay, I don't job 1 don't initiate the job 2. Job 2 itself is monitoring the job 1, and whenever job 1 is successful, then it is going to initiate on itself. For that we just need to change the configuration. Now we are going to set back this one. I mean to say removing this one. Now here only one task is there. I am job 1. I am job 1 and save this one, and nothing we changed, and this is doesn't have any downstream jobs, nothing but I don't trigger anybody. Now come here and in the configuration of job 2. Okay, so when do you want to run? I want to run, you can see here build triggers, build after other projects are built. Build after other projects are built, nothing but if my parent job is triggered, then trigger me as well. If my parent job is triggered, trigger me as well. Here we can give test dependency project. Now what this job do, this always monitor this job. Whenever it is executed, it automatically get executes. So apply and save, and let's try to build the job 1. Build now, and it should initiate the job 2. Yes, you can see here it is building job 2. Now what will happen, this job 2 is going to monitor job 1, and it's execute whenever the job 1 is executed, it automatically executes the job 2. Clear? So this is how we can create the upstream jobs. So this is upstream project, and this is earlier it was a downstream project. Nothing but if job 1 is initiating job 2, then we call it as a downstream job. In case job 2 monitoring job 1, and whenever job 1 is executed, initiates itself happens, then we call it as a upstream jobs. And when are in which situation do we use these jobs? In going forward, we are going to create a continuous integration and continuous deployment. So assume that we want to deploy this artifact into the server. We want to deploy this artifact into the server. When this artifact we want to deploy onto the server, whenever the latest version comes. Whenever latest version comes, then only we are going to deploy it. But in CA and nothing but continuous integration job, we will do the so many builds, but each time we may not generate the latest release. We may generate the snapshot. So what we can do is we can initiate in case we are doing the release. We can initiate downstream job in case what I can say. Yep, we can initiate in case our CI job is successful and it is deploying onto the release one. If it is deploying onto the release branch, then only initiate the CD job. Otherwise, don't initiate it. If I am doing or if I am deploying only in the snapshot, don't initiate the uh, downstream job. So that is how we do in the later classes. But for basic concept, we have two jobs, that is downstream and upstream. Downstream nothing but it is going to initiate the child job. Upstream nothing but it is going to initiate by itself if parent job is successful or parent job run. Is it clear? Can I repeat the entire concept again?
Yes, yeah, please.
Okay, fine. So what I have done is I have created two jobs, that is test dependency job 1 and test dependency job 2, and both are independent. Let me make it as a independent. So now both are independent, nothing but if I run this job, it only execute this job, it cannot able to initiate any other jobs. Okay, here also two builds are there as it is, and if I build this one also, it's just initiate its own job, it doesn't create anything. Okay, so let me build one more time because so that both are equal. Four builds, here also four builds. Okay, four builds are there. Now my intention or my requirement is whenever my job one runs, it automatically initiate the job two as well. Whenever job one is runs or whenever I am successful, I want to initiate another job. If that is the case, in the job one, we need to update our configuration. Okay. So once this is completed, then only I want to initiate this one, right? So whether I'm successfully completed or not will comes only the post build. Nothing but once build is successful, then only I can tell to my job to execute. That is the reason under post build actions, you will have a option to build other projects. Build other projects. So here you need to provide your other project name so that once this job is successful, it is going to initiate other project. Now I am specifying my test dependency job 2. Test dependency job 2. I cannot give my own name to initiate. It will become a recursive loop. Nothing but it is going to successful and it executes again. It is going to successful, it executes again. So I'm giving job 2. Whenever job 1 is successful, I want to execute job 2. And here we have option stable nothing but successful. Okay, unstable, sorry, fails nothing but even the job fails and there is no condition over here to fail. If you do just uh, what I can say non-existing command, maybe it is going to, yes, now it is going to fail, it won't be successful because there is no command called I in the Linux. So let me change it back. So if that is the case, we can choose this kind of options. Unstable nothing but some of the jobs may be, sorry, some of the tasks are successful within the job. Nothing but we are cloning the repository, we are building it. Among them only cloning is successful. What I can say, build is not successful, then it may go unstable. But that is not exam. That is just example. Such kind of cases it go into the unstable. So even though if it is unstable, still I would like to initiate my job to. Then you can choose this option. But for now, we'll take the only trigger if this job is successful. Test job is successful and save it. Now, if I run this job, it automatically, whenever it is successful, sorry, if I run this job, whenever it is successful, it automatically initiate the test job too. Let's build now. and fifth build is happening. Now if I go and check it out over here, it get triggered. You can see here it is triggered. It is triggered by whom? It is triggered by test job 1, and even in the result also you can see here. See here, started by upstream project test to deployment job. This guy initiated my build number 5, not a Jenkins user. If you do manually, if you go to the fourth build we have ran manually, right? That's the reason you can see here initiated by the Jenkins user. But at this moment, it is initiated by the my upstream job, my upstream job. That is the reason even here also, if I refresh this page, okay, you can see here downstream job name is this one. For this guy, for project 2, test job 1 is upstream. For project 1, upstream, sorry, test job 2 is a downstream job, because once this is completed, I'm going to execute the this one. Is it clear? Till here, is it clear?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Now next scenario is I don't want to initiate any other guys. I don't want to initiate any other guys. So I can remove this one, and this guy, but this guy I will be monitoring job 1. If job 1 is successful, I will initiate myself. Nothing but started upstream by project 2 you will get. Nothing but my job A is successful, I will execute myself. That's what it is going to do. For that one, you need to update the configuration and you need to monitor the job 1, right? For that, what you can do is build after other projects are built. Project to watch. I want to watch a project. Which project? That is test job 2. I'm going to monitor this project, and whenever this project is successful, then I will execute. If you choose this option, whenever this project is failed, then only it will execute. Okay, why when we use failed one, assume that project 1 is trying to set up some environment. Okay, but in between it got failed. Nothing but it set up some of the systems or some of the resources it set up, then a job failed. Then half of the resources you have set up and remaining is not yet completed, so you cannot use those resources. Then what you can do, you can initiate the downstream job when it failed. In this job, what we can do, we can delete the whatever resources you have configured. Okay, so that it will be clean up. So job 1 is trying to create something, but in between if it is failed, who will remove those resources? Then we can choose this kind of option. Okay, but anyway, I'm going to choose whenever this job is successful, then I want to run myself. So apply and save, and now I'm going to build project 1. I'm not building the project 2. Whenever I do build the project 1 and project 1 is successful, this job is going to execute itself. So far it is still 5, and here it is completed 6th job, and here also it is going to initiate. Downstream, did I configure? Configure. I have chosen the wrong job name. I should choose job 1, right? Because under job 2, I need to tell to job 1, not the job 2. Okay. So apply, save. Okay. This is a 6th build should happen whenever I trigger it. Okay. Wait, what I will do, I will make it as a equal. So I'm running manually only job 2. So this is triggered by Jenkins user. Now what will happen? I am going to build the job 1 build now. So 7th build is going to happen. Whenever 7th build is successful over there, here also the 7th build happened. Okay, you can see here upstream job. Yes, you can see 7th build. And if I open who ran this one, started by upstream job. Okay, this is also initiated by test dependency job only. It should come the test dependency job too. Maybe, yeah. We are monitoring and we are asking the job 1 to execute our job. So now this time, this is also executed by the dependency job only, job 1. I thought it is initiated by the job 2 itself, but not this case. But anyway, the whole agenda is whenever my upstream job is successful, I want to get execute or execute me as well. That is where we have updated this configuration. At this moment, The code is available over here. From here, we are pulling it and building at the Jenkins level and doing testing, then pushing it into the Artifactory. Once code is available in the Artifactory, we want to deploy it by using deployment tools. That is where Ansible comes into the picture. Ansible, what does it do? It takes the code from the artifact repository, in our case, JFrog Artifactory, and it deploy onto the dev environment. Let's take the orange line for now. Okay, so orange line came till here so far. Okay, to do this one, what we do, instead of adding in our same job, we will create a separate job. We will create a separate job. In the separate job, the deployment tool take the artifact repository and deploy into the dev environment. That is the separate job is going to do. Now, this job we don't execute manually. We will tell to this job is, in case build is successful and successfully it stores the uh, artifact into the artifact repository, then only execute deployment job. There is no, or it doesn't make sense, even though this build is not successful, deploying code, right? Because there is no latest version, only the old version 1.1 is there. Next time you ran a build, the build is failed, again still there is a 1.1, so there is no, it doesn't make sense to deploy it manually, right? So what do? We will do this deployment job, separate job, and we'll create it and we'll make it as a what I can say, build job as a dependency. Build job is a dependency for the deployment job. Whenever build is successful, execute deployment job. So this is one scenario where we use, not this is one scenario, this is the major uh, what I can say, we use our upstream and downstream jobs.